Hey everyone, Tina Hogan Grant here with my Cuppa A Natter. I do this twice a month on a Monday. I bring authors into my home. We talk about books, writing, a life as an author, and whatever comes to mind. And this evening, I have the pleasure of talking to Ryanna Hammond. How are you this evening?
I am doing great. I'm so glad to be here. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to see you again because I just want
Yes,
to let our audience know that we have actually met in person.
right.
And we had a fantastic conversation. We were doing a live meet and greet author event at our local library here in Fraser Park. Now, you don't live in Fraser Park. You live, I say, off the hill.
Yeah, yeah. I live just down in LA County in Winnetka, but my brother and his wife live there, so they were the ones who told me about it. They were like, "We saw this author event at the library." So,
Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad we got to meet, and here you are on my show. I appreciate
yes.
it. So, Rihanna, before we get started, I would just like to ask you to share anything you want, a little background to yourself that you feel okay sharing on the internet.
Yeah, perfect. My name is Ryanna Hammond. I am 27 years old. I'm actually recently pregnant, which is super
Oh
exciting.
my goodness, you weren't pregnant when I last saw you.
No, no, yeah.
So,
I'm
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm 3 months along right now. It's my first baby, so
Oh
very
my
exciting.
goodness.
It came at a good time in my life because prior to this, I was doing a lot of solo travel. That really came out of bad mental health, and, like, choosing the wrong partners, so I did a lot of solo travel to the national parks, and it was a lot of fun, and it really changed my life, changed my mental health, changed I guess who I am as a person. My next book is actually going to be a nonfiction book about all my solo travels to the national park. So it'll be really cool.
So, how I gotta ask, how many miles and for how long did you do that?
Yeah, so I would go anywhere from like a short trip to 3 day, like of 3 days, up to like 14 days. Like I did a 14-day trip to all five Utah parks. So I was just by myself in Utah. I would go anywhere from like probably 15 miles to like 45 miles per park.
Oh, wow. And now did you use a tent? Did you camp in your vehicle or a hotel or a
So I
campsite?
only did either tent or my car. It was like it would go to car if I was like scared. Um, because like you can get scared of men just
Oh,
being
easy,
by
easy.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But most of the time I braved a tent. Yeah, there's a lot of really good experiences though. It'll be like a really fun book to finish.
What a great way to do some soul searching.
Yeah, yeah. It really I did so much soul searching that now I'm like, wow, thank God I'm pregnant now and not like
Back
prior
then.
to, because now I feel so good and I have the best partner ever. So yeah, it's
Congratulations. So your
thank
due
you.
date will be what? June?
July 28th.
Oh, a summer baby.
Yeah, yeah, summer baby.
Do you know the sex yet?
We don't. We're gonna find out next week at the appointment. We both think it's a girl, though. I've had two dreams that it was a girl, but a lot of
Yeah.
our family members are like convinced it's a boy. So we'll
Well,
see.
in June or July, one of you will be right. That's for sure. Before we continue, I want to say hi to some of our readers that are joining us. I'm going to pop
Yeah.
the names up on the screen. Again, I am talking to Ryanna Hammond. If you have any questions for Ryanna, go ahead and put them up in the comments, and I'll get to as many as I can. She is local. She lives about what 50 miles from me.
Yeah.
50? Yes, I know that, not
Yeah.
far. We have Lori here. She says hello. And then we
Hi.
have, hold on, here we go. Come on. The comments are being slow today. Of course they are. Oh, Gloria says congratulations. And then we have Carol News. And why are I'm seeing the names, but not the questions. What is going on with my screen? Do you see the questions?
Yeah, I can see them if you want me to read what people
Why
are
are they not
saying.
showing up on my side? No, figures. I
Alright.
see them on this side, but not on the other side. All right, that's okay. Karen Logilian is here. She says, my anniversary is July 27th, and the daughter's is July 26th. So
Aw,
right on. So let's get into your books. You are young. You're a young author.
yeah.
You are, again, 27.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And when did you first start writing?
So I first started writing seriously when I was 18. I struggled with my mental health. I got my bachelor's in psychology. Mainly because I was like, why am I the way I am? Like I really struggled with depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, eating disorders, like you name it. Substance use, toxic relationships. It was just like the whole nine yards. So I really started writing because I was so depressed. I felt like I had nowhere else to go other than a pen and paper. Um, and then I fell in love with poetry and I published my first book right when I graduated. So I was 22. And then after that, I just started like an Instagram poetry account, and then the books just kept coming. So right now at 27, I have 5 poetry collections and 1 novel. I'm about to publish my next poetry collection, and then I'm working on the national park book. So hopefully by the end of this year, it'll be 8.
Now, when it comes to your poetry, is each book? Do you have some of your poetry books handy so we can see them?
Yes, I have them all. So my bachelor's is in psychology, my master's is in creative writing, with an emphasis in poetry. So a lot of my poetry really weaves well with psychology. A lot of it has like mental health topics. So I find that they're very helpful for people like going through specific like periods in their life, I would say. So this is my first book, We Are Human. And this one is, I would say, like for anyone who's ready to start their healing journey, meaning that they're ready to dive into just like their psyche and like,
Right.
why am I sad? Like they start questioning themselves or life or like, how did I get to this point? Like stuff like that. So that's the
So
first one.
when you wrote this book, was it therapeutic for you?
Oh yeah.
So is this based on, are these poems based on things that you went through in life?
Yeah. This is like all of my poetry is all my real life. Yeah.
Wow, that's a great
Yeah.
healing process right there.
Yeah. And then this one is my second one, Hearts Bruise Never Break. I was in a very unhealthy relationship with a narcissistic man. It got like very like he cheated on me. It was like emotionally and verbally abusive and psychologically abusive. It was really hard to go through that, but it was like probably I would say like a year where I it was like I couldn't even like talk, I felt like, so I just journaled a bunch and then a whole book came out of that one. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I this one from a lot of women who have read it, like if I recommend it to people basically if they're going through it right now, like if they've just broken up with them or they're questioning whether or not to break up with this person they're with, then I say like, "Oh, check out Hearts Will Never Break," and a lot of women have like messaged me on
How much it's helped them and
yeah, on Instagram, like, "Oh my gosh, like that book was so relatable." It was like, like a best friend I could hug, like
like it helped you when you wrote the poems.
right, exactly. Yeah, that's what's beautiful about it is like that was my process of writing it was my healing. And
Right.
then for
And then
them reading it gives
and
them
that's why I
healing.
wrote my first debut novel. At the time, I didn't realize it would help me because it's
Yeah,
based in my life, and I had no idea that it would be so therapeutic and
right.
how much I understood myself better after writing it,
Right.
why I made the choices I did. And before I wrote the book, and I'm sure you felt the same way when you wrote your poems, that you were so hard on yourself, you blamed yourself for everything.
Oh yeah.
But then by the end of it, you realize, well, wait a minute. No, 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 no. There's
Right.
reasons why I made these choices. And I also look at myself as a victim and a survivor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I had a very similar experience like
Mhm.
beforehand thinking one thing about myself and then I would say after even each book it was almost like I got to see a different reflection of me in the book like I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah. And then your debut novel, Searching for Emiliano, I'm sorry, Emiliano.
Yeah.
Emiliano, that one
Yeah.
right there. This, I have it right here. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
And I am reading it right now. I thought I had more time to read it. The holidays just messed me up, but I'm on chapter 14, this one right here. And
Yeah.
I have to say, I really am enjoying it. It's very well written,
Thank you.
very well written. But what I liked about it, and this is what struck me right away, is how you brought 2 cultures together.
Yes.
This is what I liked about it, and the
Right.
contrast between the 2 cultures. You got Rachel, white Caucasian, and
Right.
then you have Emiliano, who's Mexican.
Mhm.
And the 2, I'm not gonna, of course, give too much away, but they meet, their worlds come together, and the contrast of each one, for example, Rachel, trying Mexican food, or Emiliano is trying, I think it was sushi or something, I forgot,
Yeah.
someplace. And yeah. But the way you brought the 2 worlds together and the huge difference of the neighborhoods,
Right.
um, very well done. And of course, I'm
Thank
on
you.
chapter 14, so
Yeah.
I am enjoying it, and I will leave a review when I finish it. But first of all, I want to ask you first about this cover. The cover is
Yes.
gorgeous. Is
Thank
this
you.
you?
Yeah, that's me on the cover.
Okay.
Yeah, when I had long hair before I cut it.
Oh,
Yeah.
your hair's still long. Now, why did you I wanna know why this cover for this book? When
Yeah. So I after I finished the book, it took me like 2 years and 150 drafts. Like, I was obsessed with that book. It was just like I wanted it to be complete perfection. I had no idea what the cover was gonna be. At the time, I had an apartment in Vegas. I lived by myself, and one day I finished work and this idea just like comes to me from the ether, and it was like, get on a cute outfit. I like saw the outfit in my mind, like an outfit from my closet, and it was like go out on a mountain. And I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this today. Like, it was like thundering, storming. I like did not know, but I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go. So then as I'm on the drive there, another thought like comes into my head, and it was like, you're doing your cover today for the book. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, okay, like this is like it was really crazy. But it was like thundering and storming. It was really perfect for, I guess, to encapsulate like just the book as a whole. Once you finish it,
okay.
you'll know. But the main character is based largely on a younger version of me and an experience I had. It is fictionalized,
Mhm.
um, but it is originally based on like something from my life. And so I very much resonate with Rachel, the main character. And so I basically, when I was taking that picture, I just embodied her energy. And then I just like looked out because she's like searching for this man. She really loves this man.
Mhm.
And then that was the very first shot I took. It ended up being the cover. I took like 200 pictures, and that was the very first one. It ended
It's a
up.
beautiful cover, and I just love, for whatever reason, I love pictures from the back. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but I do. I have a lot of them of my grandkids, walking on the pier, and I just love those kind of pictures. I'm terrible with Mexican. I'm sorry with the name. Emiliano. Is he based on anybody?
Yeah. He also is.
I like the little smile there.
Yeah. Loosely loosely based, yes. So the Rachel and Emiliano, a large bulk of their relationship was based on something from my real life. That was where I drew the inspiration because it was like I was experiencing so much like confusion and heartache and love and like all these emotions at once. I didn't know what to do with it. And prior to that point, I had only written poetry books,
Right.
but it was like so basically what happened was I was trying to write a poem about the experience I was feeling with him. And I would journal like 10 pages and be like, how do I get this down to the size of a poem? And then it dawned on me, I was like, oh, I can't. Like, it's too big to be a poem. I have to write my first novel. And then that's how I wrote my first novel.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
How do you like writing novels versus writing poetry?
Oh, it's so funny because having been on in like both camps, I always thought poetry was just gonna be the love of my life. Like I was like, I never want to not write poetry. After writing the novel, my mindset completely changed. Like my head now is like, I love novels. I want to write a million worlds and like be completely immersed in them.
Well, I commend you for taking, both routes. I have never tried writing poetry. I don't read a lot of poetry, but the ones that I have read, I really love. And I recently read a fellow author poetry book. And I resonated with every poem that she wrote. And I was very impressed because I had not read a lot of poetry.
Hmm.
And for me, I've never tried to write it because to me, I look at poetry as harder because
Mm,
you have to get, to me, it reminds me of writing a blurb for a book. You have to get that message in such a tight, almost
right,
not even a paragraph, a
right,
few
right.
lines, and you got to resonate with your reader about what you're trying
Right.
to express. So I've never even tried to write poetry. So well done.
Thank you. You should try it. It is fun. It's definitely therapeutic.
I'd have to read a lot more to figure out how they do.
Yeah.
I really do. I want to see some more. I see some questions up here I want
Yeah.
to bring up. And I think we just talked about this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Is the girl on the cover representing you? And that is here goes the questions now. And that is from Lori.
Hi,
Um,
Lily.
anything else you want to add to what we talked about on that picture?
Yeah, I would say in a way it represents a younger version of me. Like when you read the book, it is in no way the woman I am now. But like the 23-year-old version of me, the main character definitely is like very closely related to that version of me.
Oh, okay. And I see some new other people joining us. I just want to say hi to these people. We've got Barbara here from Florida. She says hello. And then I
Hi.
like this one from Lori. She says, don't take offense to this, but you look like you're in high school.
I saw that when it came up. Thank you, and I don't take offense. So
I like that one. And then I'm going to put this up. If you just want to give us we have talked about the novel that is based loosely on your life, but if you want to just go into a little bit about the plot without giving too much away.
okay. So the novel is a contemporary multicultural romance. So contemporary meaning modern day. It's set in the 2020s. Multicultural meaning it is between two different cultures. So it's Mexican/Mexican American, as well as middle class, white, Caucasian, United States culture. So Rachel, who's been here for 3 or 4 generations, is one of the main characters. She's getting her master's degree, and then Emiliano is first generation to the U.S. He's like been busting his butt since he was 15 and a half just to make ends meet and have a room to rent with his family. And the romance, of course, comes from these two people falling in love. So, despite the fact that they're from completely different worlds, they both play soccer and they meet at a soccer event. Immediately, like it's like love at first sight. Once their eyes lock, and then it's like the journey of their love and everything they have to deal with that really is similar to the modern human condition that we have now. Like with different cultures, there is racism, misunderstandings. There's all sorts of things that really happen in real life. And I wanted to convey that in the book. So I would say that the book very much is not a fairy tale or, some dream of it. It's really representing real life and the division that we can have in this world. And the purpose of writing it was for people to really understand the other side, see more humanity in the other side, and hopefully bring people together so that in the future, there isn't as many struggles with like interracial, intercultural couples.
And I think that was very well done in the book. One of the things I liked, I mean, like I said, I have not finished the book, but I'm on chapter 14. But what I did feel in the book through your writing is the struggles Emiliano goes through daily
Yeah.
with his work, and then also the closeness of the family on the Mexican
Right.
side. Everything is about family. Everything.
Yeah.
It's all revolves around the family, and the families are not small. They are big families.
Yes, right.
And I have to say that my son married into a Spanish Mexican lady,
Mhm.
and so I see that when we go to events like the grandkids' birthday
Right.
parties, they are huge.
Yeah.
This kid
Right.
is 5 years old, and you would think he was turning 21 and became.
Right.
They love to party. They love their families.
Yeah.
And me and my husband are like, look at all these desserts. I mean, it's one table full of dessert for a 5-year-old birthday party. And we're like,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
My son, he gets, a birthday cake, a few balloons.
Right.
But I just love the contrast of the two cultures. And you
Yeah.
certainly do that in the book that I'm reading. Also, I want to just bring up a question from Carla Brown, but this is going back to the poetry books, I'm assuming, because she is asking, do you ever go back and reread them?
I actually have before, not all of them. I would say if I was going through something in my life again that kind of required a book like that was when I did. So after writing Hearts Bruise Never Break, right after that, I actually got in a relationship with another narcissistic man because it's kind of a pattern. Well, it's kind of I feel like a pattern you repeat if you don't learn, from your mistakes. And I didn't really know why I was repeating it until, of course, I went on more soul searching and then
And
didn't.
now you found the right guy.
Now I'm with the right guy, love of my life. But after I went through that breakup, that next one, I was so sad and I was like, I need to read Hearts Bruise Never Break. And I read it and it was extremely relatable. So it was funny that I wrote it going through the first one, read it as someone using it for healing the second time.
Oh, wow. It's amazing how sometimes it takes us a few mistakes to
Right.
learn, I shouldn't be doing this. There's something wrong with
Right.
this picture. I need to be, waking up. Back
Exactly.
to the book. Lori is asking, are there any topics that were hard to write about in the book?
Yeah. I think in the novel, there were definitely some of the like deeper scenes, whether they were romantic, like kissing scenes or just more sexual. Those were difficult at times. Um, and I would say like I don't want to give it away, but there was definitely other ones that are just really like oof, like hard, like heavy, just human things like there's like an experience between them with this person who's racist toward Emiliano. Like that was hard to write, and that was based on a real experience that
Oh,
me and him had went through. Yeah, that's why I say like when people read it, it definitely is fictionalized, but like a large part of their story, like regardless of the whole picture and what's happening with other characters and everything else, a lot of the stuff between them was true. And that was also why I wanted to write it, because I was like, often we could think that, these certain like oh, that's they're like these are like stereotypes about life, but like this was like really real. Like this is what happened, to
mhm.
us. Um, and I would say definitely like those were harder scenes. Some scenes would bring out so much emotion. I would just be like crying as I was typing, or like I would finish the scene and I just would be like a blank mind and like rest for 5 hours because I was like I couldn't even get out of like because I'd immersed myself so deep in it. With the poetry, I would say a lot of I would say it got easier. Definitely with the first book and each book, it's like each book got easier to write because I was healing more and more until I'm
Right.
now like feeling really whole. But like a lot of those, they have depressing poems, like poems about me like having depression or suicidal ideation, poems
Oh my
about the
goodness.
narcissistic abuse or eating disorders. So like those were harder. But now like with the recent collection I wrote, it's a lot of like beautiful nature poems. It's about heaven on earth. It's like all things from the
Because
lens I'm in now. So
you're writing as your life progresses. So back when you
exactly
wrote that poetry, you were going through hard times, you're going through difficult times.
right.
I want to see the poems about the baby. I can't wait to read those.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm very excited about
Yeah, that's got to be. I mean, even now carrying the baby and
it.
when it's
Oh
done,
yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for you. I mean,
Thank you.
especially the first child. You're like, oh wow, I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you and your is it husband, boyfriend, fiance. I don't want to.
Boyfriend.
Okay, soon to be
He
fiance.
will be my fiance and will
Yeah,
be.
I gotta ask because you wrote a book. Are you in a mixed relation? I mean, not mixed, but mixed cultural relationship with your boyfriend now?
I am, yeah. He also speaks Spanish. He's
Uh-huh.
Salvadorian. He's 100% Salvadorian. He was born here though. His parents are from El Salvador. And we actually just recently went to El Salvador and got to visit his great uncle and his cousin
Wow.
who live out there. So
And has he read this book?
he did. When we first started dating, I was like, if you're gonna date me, you should read my novel. And yeah, right. That's how I get him.
Okay, and what did he say about it?
uh He said he was jealous because he was like, "I'm a little jealous just reading about you kissing another man," but, he was like he just really commended me on my writing. He said he could really see it. He said it was really vivid, and he
It
just when
yeah,
he got to the end, he was like, "You are a great writer." Like, he said he's excited to read all my books, so
that's excellent. And tell him not to be jealous. We all have a history.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What matters is that he's
Yeah.
the present. The history
Right,
is
right, right.
his history.
Yeah.
I want to publish some more comments. Virgie is here. She says hello. If I don't see him before, I like to pop up the name. So Virgie is here. And who else is here? Hold on. My computer is like. And then Virgie also says a beautiful cover. I want to pop that up for you.
Oh,
Belinda is here. She says hello. Okay, so this is a standalone, correct?
the novel?
Yes.
Yeah, it is a standalone. It's not a story that will have any continuation, which you'll know when you get to the end. It's
Really?
yeah.
Okay. Never say never, though. I always say never say never. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
going to say that. I'm going to say that. So, what are you currently working on? Book another novel, correct? And this is your nonfiction one
Yes, yes.
about
So
about. I'll let you say it
okay.
is.
Yeah, so I kind of two right now. So the first which will come out is my poetry collection called The Nature of It All. And that one has a lot of nature poems. And I would say it's like my journey into like feeling heaven on earth, like a lot of gratitude and like closeness with my family and stuff like that. So that's the poetry collection. And that'll be the first poetry collection after getting the master's in creative writing with an emphasis in poetry. So the poetry is definitely like stronger in terms of like understanding form and really the background and history of poetry, where before it was more like journaling my emotions kind of thing. So tactically it's much stronger. And then the book I'm working on will be my first nonfiction book, and it is about all my solo travels to the U.S. national parks. It's called From Heartbreak to Hiking Boots. So it starts when I'm going through my first narcissistic breakup. So the book starts in the year 2019. And basically, I told my mom, I didn't even know how to pitch a tent at that time in my life. And I was 21 or 22. And I was like, Mom, for Christmas, I want a backpack. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go off in the wilderness. And she was like, okay. Like, she just like, you are so silly. Cause I didn't even know how to pitch a tent, let alone had I ever like done anything really by myself. And then basically like I got the backpacking gear. It sat in my closet for a year. Then I was with another like narcissistic guy. After that breakup, I finally was like, I am going outdoors. So I went on like a camping trip. I hated it. Never thought I'd go again. Then I went through another bad experience with a guy. It sent me back outdoors. It was just like this back and forth for a while between like heartbreak, getting outdoors, heartbreak, and outdoors. And then on that second camping trip, I had this huge breakthrough with my own relationship with myself. Some like a quote, like a line from the book says, this is what I realized on that trip was that I was meaner to me than any boy ever had been. And that's why I was choosing those men. And then after that, I just loved being outdoors. I was going on like a new trip every month. Then I'd go like farther and wider, different places in the United States. This past September, actually, I flew with just a backpack and a hammock from California to Indiana. I went to the Sand Dunes National Park there,
Okay.
and I didn't bring a tent because I didn't want to pay for like luggage on
Oh
the airplane. So I literally only brought a hammock. I hung a hammock between trees, and for 4 nights I just slept on a hammock, like
Under
out
the
in
stars. Under the stars.
nature itself.
What an adventure, though.
Yeah, it was so fun. And it's so cool too, because like that's basically where like the first solo trip I went on was in 2020. So with 5 years of doing it, like that's where it led me. Is now I'm like, I can go out by myself. I can get on a plane and have a hammock, So
But it gave you confidence in yourself, made you
right.
stronger, and I'm sure you learned so much about survival too.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
And not only that, you have a book to write.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have had a YouTube channel.
I know. I've heard that. Everyone's like, why haven't you been like documenting all this? I'm like, well, I do have the book because
Okay, in the years that you did this, which one has been, do you have a favorite place?
ooh, see, I have my bottle right here actually with all the places I've been to.
Oh, wow, I like that.
I've been to 1/3 of the parks now.
That
Um,
is so cool.
I know, right? I saw this bottle and I was like, I need that. You put on like the sticker once you go there.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have to say that first place, like not the trip I hated, but the first one where I had that major breakthrough, just because like that's really the journey that started it all. That was Kings Canyon National Park, which is just above Sequoia.
Mhm.
It's like the one that
I've been
Sequoia completely overshadows it. Like a lot of people have not really heard of it. But I actually ran into a black bear there on a trail by myself. And that was also an experience that changed my life because it was like, here I was all like sad and depressed or thinking nothing of myself. I come across this bear, like look it dead in the eyes, come out alive. Like I got back to my car and I like looked in the mirror, like the rearview mirror, and I was like, you are such a badass.
Yeah.
And then that was like really what started me having a good relationship with me. So yeah, that and it's beautiful. I highly recommend going there if
It
you've
is
never
gorgeous.
been.
I have been, and in fact, one of
Beautiful.
my books takes place there too, and there's a bear in it.
Really? No. Really? Oh my gosh, what's the title of that book?
That is called No, which one is that? That is Open Arms. They take
Open
their
Arms. I
honeymoon.
have to read
It's
it.
part of a series. It's part of the Sabella series. There is a little bit of steam in there, but it's the Open Arms book, and they take the honeymoon to Kings Canyon, and they encounter a bear.
Wow, I wrote it down. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
read that one.
If I have not sent you any of my books, I'll send you that one because you did send me this. Did I?
Yeah. I do have one of your books. I think it's a book of short stories. I think that's
Oh, Waves and Memories.
yes, that
Waves
one.
and Memories.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's called Open Arms, but I can't wait to read the book. It's going to be fabulous.
Yeah.
And what is it? Do you think that you will continue doing this with your family once your baby's born?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What a great
Definitely,
way to bring her up in the world. Yeah,
right?
she, I shouldn't say.
Yeah.
He.
Her.
I'm excited for you. Everything's going
Thank
so well
you.
for you. This is
Yeah.
fabulous. Before we continue on, I don't want to put you on the spot, but did we talk about you doing a live read?
Oh yeah, I was gonna do a live read.
Okay, great. Because I hate asking when you're live. Do you want to do a live read?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you did agree. So we're at halfway point. Are you ready to do that now?
Yeah, we can. Should I do like a few poems and then like a snippet?
Whatever you want to do. It's you've got the floor. You've got the mic. I'm leaving it up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll probably go with my newest poetry collection,
Okay.
just because that one definitely I'd say has the best poems. Skinny Dipping with Patience was a love book I wrote, not about anyone I'm with anymore, but and that's okay. It's part of the journey. This actually is based off of the same guy as Searching for Emiliano, which is funny. So he got 2 books about him.
Wow, he's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, these ones are all like love poems. Let's see. Okay.
Meeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah, I know. This one is called Something Eternal.
Okay.
For I will be in love with you until you are no longer my last thought before sleep or the first when I wake. Until not one thing reminds me of you when I'm out in a public place. Until I forget what it's like to feel your soul when I look into your eyes. Until the memories fade of our bodies entwined. Which is to say, maybe one day I won't be in love with you. But I will love you until the ocean tides release their ties to the moon. Until every river flows upstream. Until the sun cries out rain. Until your own mother forgets your name. Which is to say, I will love you forever.
So sweet.
Thank you. Let's see another one I could do. It's hard because with this one, we didn't really work out at first, and then that's why there's like sad love poems, and then there's like actual, having some like. But I'm like, I don't want to read anything like that. I just want to read something happy. Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
It's called The Sun Will Always Shine. I'll tell the seas, send us a tsunami. The tropics, a typhoon. The Alps, an avalanche. I'll call the north. Suggest a winter so harsh, bodies are sure to fester frostbite. And the south, a summer so rash, it's one fiery red heat stroke. I'll whisper to the rivers to ripple and rage, to conjure a current that surely sweep anything away. I'll beckon the whole earth to quake. Because no matter the disaster that could attempt to destroy, our love survives and always finds that the sun still shines. The sun always shines.
I love that.
Thank you.
How long does it take you to write a poem like that? I mean, when you write poetry, do you just go with what first comes out and you put it on paper? Or do you, like books, go over it and change it or anything like I said, I've never read poetry.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
It definitely depends on the poem. Like, I have one poem from another one of my books, My Cup of Coffee. I can like vividly remember when the idea came to me, I just like sat down and it came out and I never tweaked a single word. It was, so that was 20 seconds, it just was written and that was it. But then I've had other ones, like ones when I got my grad school degree, which will be the book I'm coming out with now. Some of those, it would be like the poem would be in my mind for a year, but I didn't know how to put it on paper yet. And then finally it would come, like I'd get the idea of like, this is the first line. I'd be like, oh my gosh, there's that poem that's been just like roaming around in my head. And then I'd write the whole thing, So technically that would be like a year in the process,
Yeah,
just
no
to give you an
kidding.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it can range
See,
for
the
sure.
only time I attempted to write poetry was back in the day in school.
Oh,
For
yeah.
me, they taught me it all wrong because every other line had to rhyme,
Mm,
and it's like,
yeah.
"This is too hard." You think
No,
that
right,
rhymes with this, rhymes with this.
right.
It's probably why I didn't get into poetry, because in school they said
Yeah,
every other line has to rhyme with the other word.
right, they're teaching, like, the A, B, A, B, C, B, C,
Yeah.
and that format is very much, like, cognizant of, like, 1600s poetry or 1700s poetry,
Yeah,
not, like,
from England. I'm from England, so that makes
contemporary.
sense.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, and even more probably being
Yeah,
in
and all
England.
the poetry I've read since then do not rhyme. So,
Right, yeah, yeah,
so they made it really difficult.
right.
Did you say you're gonna read a little bit from the book too?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, I was
great.
thinking I'll read, the preface of the book. So this is, or sorry, the prologue. Um, so this is all pre-chapter 1. This is just
Okay,
what you need to know before you
read
dive
it.
in. Okay, prologue. It's curious how people can live in the same town nearly their entire lives, and yet their paths will never cross. As one exits the parking lot, the other has just parked. As one orders an ice cream cone, the other walks out of the shop looking down at their phone. As one goes from aisle 5 to aisle 6 examining their grocery list, the other brushes past them into aisle 5. And this truth is no different for the residents of Old Oak, California. What, with its nearly 40,000 residents, any two people could be under each other's noses quite often, and one or both of them may never know it. One person who never notices such things is Rachel Williams. She tends to be aloof, a bit in the clouds. Not in the way of an idiot, but in the way of an overthinker. Everywhere she goes, her body is in reality, but her mind is somewhere else. And that's why she never notices people. As it turns out, though, people notice her. They have an affinity for her upbeat spirit and intellect. She's got the kind of personality that curiosity wants to taste, that misery wants to tarnish, that pain wants to kill. On top of her character, she's got an athletic physique that turns heads and a natural beauty that shines with or without makeup. One such person who has always been drawn to Rachel is Javier Aguilar. He grew up just 4 blocks away from her, and prior to her moving away for college, he would see her all the time. They went to the same elementary school, and that's where he first saw her. She was in 3rd grade, he in 6th. And unfortunately for him, their age gap meant they would never be in middle school together. By the time he was off to high school, the boundaries within the city limits that designated which school one would attend had changed. Rich neighborhoods were popping up just over the hill, so the cutoff line became the main road between his house and Rachel's. She went to Old Oak High School, and he went to Ten Pines High School, the next town over. Now he is 26 and she 23, and he is still trying to meet her. However, outside of the elementary school setting, their near run ins were never by accident. Javier wanted to run into Rachel and often sought her out. In middle school, he would walk by her house every morning on the way, hoping to meet her. In high school, he would try to hang around the same crowd as her or go to her soccer matches, hoping to enter her circle. Some might think that to be embarrassing or ridiculous, others may believe it to be charming. He stopped trying when she moved away to college over half a decade ago and set his sights elsewhere. He has no idea that she has been back for a year. Another such man who has had near run ins with Rachel is Emiliano Morales. However, unlike Javier, his near run ins with her were never planned. Rather, they were coincidence, random, accidental. He went to middle school and high school with Rachel and would often pass by her in the hallways, see her play in her high school soccer games, or spot her occasionally at a party. In the grand scheme of school life, however, it wasn't truly that often. They were from completely different crowds, cultures, and lifestyles. Unlike Rachel or Javier, who belong to the dominant American culture and live in middle class neighborhoods, Emiliano is heavily immersed in his Mexican heritage and is first generation in the United States. Growing up, his family often relocated from one rented room to another until he turned 15 and a half and was able to get a job. By that point, with his sister being 17, they both worked. And finally, he, his mother, and his sister were able to afford their own condo with the help of an undocumented immigrant and her son who paid rent to them under the table for one bedroom. From the time he was 16 to now, age 22, His immediate family has lived in that same condo in one of Old Oak's few barrios, which is nestled between the 101 freeway and the town's only true Mexicano shops. His life has been filled with hustle, grind, and labor for as long as he can remember to help his family survive. So, no, he hasn't thought about Rachel since high school, and truly, he rarely thought about her then. He had no breaths or seconds to waste thinking about the beautiful Rachel Williams from an entirely different world who didn't even know he existed. She was merely a pretty white girl with privileges he could only dream of. It wouldn't matter to him whether or not she's back from college or that she even left for college in the first place. However, on this oddly serendipitous October morning, Rachel Williams, Javier Aguilar, and Emiliano Morales have all planned to attend the same pickup soccer game at a park in Old Oak. In just 2 hours' time, all three of their paths will cross. The match that, when lit, will spark inevitable change in each of their lives forever.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very good. And it gets you into the story. I like the background and the
Yeah.
book to the story. I want to ask you too, how did you come up with the names for these books?
Well, what I really did, which is probably like a silly little like thing. I remember when I first tried writing like my first book when I was like 14, I did this too. I just took the names of real people, right? And I kept the first letter and I made up a new name. So a lot of them it's like so like Rachel, right? It was really based on like that version of me. So Ryanna, Rachel. My mom is Sandy. So the mom of Rachel, oh gosh, what's her name? I'm like, I forgot. I wrote this book a while ago.
I do that too. I forget the characters.
Yeah. And then Charles is the dad, and my dad's name is Chris. So I did that with a lot of them. But a couple of the characters are completely made up. Like they're just fictional characters from my mind. So those ones it was like I would sit with like a list of names. Like if it was one of the Mexican characters, I'd be like on a Mexican baby list, and I'd be like, what's the right name for this character? And I'd like search for hours till I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the name of the person I want. So
do you speak fluent Spanish?
Not completely fluently, but like when me and my boyfriend went to El Salvador, I'm able to like get by with it.
You speak, I mean, here you do it very well.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You do it very well. I do not speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you let me know what was going on at that part of the book. I do not speak Spanish, but very well in the book.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
I want to just pop up some comments from your reading. Karen says, I enjoyed the reading. Thank you. And then we have, thank you for the live read. B says, sounds good.
Thank you.
And Mary says, sounds like a good story. I'm enjoying it. I really am. Can you let the readers know where they can find this book?
Yes. So I have my own website. If you order it from there, then it'll come directly from me. I have like 50 plus copies at my house of each of my books. So my website is www.allwithheart.com. And then you can also get all of my books on Amazon. And then the novel you can get anywhere. So like if you just type in Searching for Emiliano by Ryanna Hammond, you could get it like, I believe it's on Target.com, Walmart. It's just anywhere online. Yeah.
And then what about Kindle Unlimited? Is it wide as far as ebook goes, or is it on KU?
Yes. So the novel and the most recent poetry book, these ones are not on Kindle Unlimited, but they are on Kindle, so you'd be able to purchase them.
So you can get them anywhere.
The other four, though, these are all on Kindle Unlimited. These 4 poetry collections.
Perfect.
So you could read them all for free. I know I talked about these 2. I could mention who these 2 are for. I said they're like.
Of course you can. Yeah. Okay. Well, talk about your books.
Yeah. So this one and is the third one that's free on Kindle Unlimited. My Cup of Coffee is my 3rd collection. It's definitely it's the one I recommend really to anybody. I think anyone could read it at any time in their life. They'll find things enjoyable in it. It really encompasses just like the intricacies of human life. If you're thinking of like, who are we? Why do we do this? Why do we have to use money for everything? Like just questioning the modern human condition is a lot of this book. What I like to say is it's all the things you think about as you're having your morning cup of coffee. Like before you go to work in the morning, you're just like, another day of this shit, like everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that's that book. Definitely the most like universal for any reader. And then The Door Between Us, also on Kindle Unlimited. it was my journey to becoming my own best friend. So it's all different doors. Like this is sad me, happy me, right? It's all grayscale. This one's all in color. So it's like the chapters are like the door between me and the girl in my skin, the door between me and society, like things like that. For me to like heal, let go of resentments, for myself, others, family, everything like that, and then um, become good friends with myself on the other side. So if you're someone who's on a journey to befriend themselves, that's definitely a good book.
What I'm really impressed with is how far you've come at such a young age.
Oh, thank you.
Sometimes it takes people decades to figure out life. And
Yeah.
it seems like you've learned a lot and you've listened to yourself.
Yeah.
And a couple of times, like you said, you dated the wrong man, but to actually put it down on paper and in poetry and just really dig deep inside of yourself
Yeah.
and move forward, I think is brilliant. And
Thank
at
you.
such a young age. And I want to talk about your website because it's not just about your books.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
other things you offer on that site. Can you just let the readers know what else you do on that website?
Yeah. So it's more than just my books. All with Heart is like my publisher, but then also more like my brand, I would say, that I'm just starting out this past year. So the intention behind it is to help inspire people to live all with heart. If you go onto the like about me section, you can read my whole like journey. It's not too long, but it's me explaining like I almost took my life when I was 15 and a half.
Wow.
And for one reason or another, I didn't. There was like 3 almost attempts, and I was like very, very close.
3? 3?
Yeah, and, like, now, I just love life. I love being alive. I have an amazing life because of, uh, going into my fear and not backing down from, like, all these struggles, and so now it's like, whether people ever have experienced that level of darkness or not, anyone who is, like, in any sort of place of darkness or has that kind of, like fear or debilitating mental health or just even struggling with one thing like an eating disorder or disordered eating, like I have a goal to just help as many people as I can, inspire them to live all with heart, seek help if you need it, wear your heart on your sleeve. Um, read things that will help you heal, seek the self-development tools you need. So I offer like a wide range of things on there. I have my books. I also have merch. So it's like the design of the all with heart. It's a heart that looks like it's either like a sunrise or a sunset, meaning that any new day or at the time of any day ending, you can start anew and you can wake up and decide you're going to have that day be the day that you change. um and it's like all really pretty colors, like bright oranges and yellows, because I want it to be happy and like warm when people visit the website. So that there's like merch that has like my poems on the back. There's like different ones with different poems. And then I also do guided journaling workshops for specific healing that people might need. So like I have one called Becoming Your Own Best Friend. Um, and they're all an hour long where I'm leading people through prompts and giving them also wisdom and advice from how I got from one side to the other side, from
Right.
going from self-hate to self-love. And then the last thing I have on there is self-development coaching, like one-on-one coaching that I do. They're in like, it could be like in a session of 4, typically. That's like where it's the cheapest. Um, but I would say everything on there is pretty affordable. Most of the stuff I offer is all between like $0 and $20.
Yeah. But, with your background and what you've learned, I mean, I think it's brilliant.
Thank you.
And the fact that you are passing on your knowledge
Yeah.
to others, I bet you wished when you were going through what you were going through that there
Right.
was someone like you to come.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm trying to be that person, that
Mhm.
version, like that. I guess there was 10 years of me in that, and so now being on this side, I'm like, I know the pain that people are feeling, and so I'm like, I want to help lift them out of it and, make a new life for themselves. So
That is so cool. And then the next book, the nonfiction book,
mhm.
do you have a release date for that one yet?
I wish I did. I don't yet, but my goal is by the end of this year. Like once I get the poetry book out, that's my sole focus. I already have the cover done. And I'm on the first draft, but I only have one chapter left. So it's basically done and then it's just refining and getting it out there. So
Wow. Well, we'll have to have you back.
Yeah, that would be fun.
We'll get you on the calendar. We have a little
Yeah.
bit of wait. But also that comes to mind, because it'll be after the new year, you'll be a mom.
Yeah, I
So
will be.
you'll have to put the baby on the show too for a
Yeah, I'll be
little
like,
bit,
"Here's the child
and
that
then
was."
hand over to Dad, because we've been
Yeah.
talking about he, she for a while. Okay, I want to get away from the writing and just to get to know you as Ryanna. We
Yeah.
know you like to hike. We know you're going to be a mom.
Mhm.
But what other things do you like to do when you just want to break away from writing, break away from poetry? What does Ryanna do to relax? If
Yeah.
you do relax.
I do. I love playing soccer. I've played soccer my whole life. I played soccer in college. So, and
Is
my
that in the
boyfriend.
book?
Oh yeah, yeah. You'll read about that in the book too. Yeah, and
Right.
my boyfriend also plays soccer. So we're actually going to play tonight too. So we just play pickup, where we play
Oh,
in
cool.
leagues around here where we live. And then I also, this is like a very like niche thing that I love to do, but I love to put headphones in, go for walks, and like at midnight, like we're talking dead of the night and like not many cars, dancing on the double yellow lines. You'll actually see Rachel do that in the book at some point.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not there yet.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, I think it's like chapter, I want to say it's like 20 something.
Okay,
So
I'm
yeah,
almost there.
yeah. Yeah, that's just, it's so fun. It's something that brings me a lot of joy, just dancing. And I've never formally danced anyway. It's just like I just love putting on, especially 80s music. I love 80s music. And other like 60s, 70s, 50s also. Um what else do I do? I mean, I would say like sports in general. I love running. I run half marathons. The other day, me and my boyfriend went to play tennis. So just anything outdoorsy, athletic. Reading is always a good pastime. I do a lot of reading as much as I can. Um, yeah.
Wow, busy girl, busy girl.
Yeah.
And we're starting a new year, 2025. I cannot believe we're in 2025. I really can't.
I know.
It's scary. But what have you set yourself any goals for this year other than, finishing your nonfiction book and having a baby? What other goals
Yeah.
have you set for yourself?
So I set 4 resolutions. I don't really call them resolutions though. What was I calling them earlier?
Oh, goals.
Intentions. I
Oh, there
call
you go.
them
So I
intentions.
always say goals.
Yeah, yeah. Because in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to be hard on myself if I miss some a day or something. But they're like intentions, things I want to really integrate into my life. So the first one is to read 52 books in a year. I've done that before and I've done it. And then the one year I didn't do it, I didn't read that many books. So I was like, I got to put that one back into action. So it's 1 book per week, essentially. And then the second one is to drink 100 ounces of water every day because I'm carrying baby, so I need to drink a little more. So just being like mindful of,
That's a lot of water.
I know it's been a struggle. Sometimes I'll get to like 70 or 80, so I'm like, okay, that was good. But there were a few days I hit it over 100, and I was like, yeah, I can't believe I did it.
Wow.
Yeah. The third one is to have a better sleep schedule, rather than the midnight bedtime. Us writers, sometimes we might get an idea and then we're up at like
I'm
I'll
all
be
over
trying
the
to
place. Yeah.
I'll be trying to work at like 1 a.m. Like I just want to write. I'm like, no, 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 like 10 p.m. and then get up at 6. I just think it'll be better sleep wise. So that's the third one. And then the fourth one is to get at least 30 minutes of exercise a day, even if it's just like a light walk. Just to also, be healthy for baby. So
Those are great goals. Great goals.
yeah.
Preparing yourself too. I see a couple more questions. I'm looking at the time, but we got a few more minutes. I want to pop up some questions that I might have missed. Here
Mhm.
is one from, no, I missed it. Wait a minute. Lloyd says, who are some of your favorite authors?
Yeah. I would say a lot of my favorite authors are poets, actually. Wisław, she's from another country, so I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's like Wisława Szymborska. She's a poet. I want to say like Polish, maybe. Maybe from like the 70s or 80s, but she won the Nobel Peace Prize for poetry.
Oh, wow.
She
Okay.
has some phenomenal poetry books.
Lloyd
Mary,
writes poetry too. Lloyd Chestnut,
Mhm.
she writes poetry. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if Lloyd's had her poems published though. Lloyd, let me know in the
Oh,
comments. But Lloyd does write poems, and I did see her comment that a poem doesn't have to rhyme. I know that.
right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But in England, they made her say that. But Lloyd, I know that. I know that. But I did see her comment. But
Yeah.
let me know, Lloyd, in the comments if you published any of your poetry. But I do know she writes poetry.
Mhm.
So, yeah. And then Virgie says, where's Virgie? I saw Virgie had a comment about her granddaughter plays soccer. So
Aw,
yeah, she plays.
love
I've
that.
seen pictures of her too, playing soccer, which that's really cool. I don't know what my comments aren't coming. My comments won't move. I'm trying to scroll up. Oh, here we go. There's Lori's comment. She said, "No, I haven't published any yet." Lori, you got to publish your poems. I'd love to read them. Right, right, Ryanna.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And then Carol, she says, "I love your enthusiasm."
Thank
I
you.
just kept popping up. And then Belinda says she's looking forward to reading your
Thank
books. Okay, so we are wrapping it up, but I do have one final question for you, Ryanna. And for any aspiring writer that wants to become a published author or poet,
Mhm.
what advice would you give them?
Yeah, my biggest piece of advice would be to just do it and go into the fear. I feel like before any initial thing you embark on, you're gonna experience a lot of fear and potentially like, the voices being like, it's not good enough, don't do it, you can't do it, you haven't done enough yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, things like that. So just knowing that none of that's true and that your work is valid and beautiful. We're all humans here with creativity. It's innate in us. And to have that activated is a beautiful thing. And if creativity is coming to you, it's for a reason. And I would say to try your best to not listen to that fear and just do it. Like Nike's motto, just
Just,
do it.
just go for it.
Just do it.
Just
Yeah.
do it. Perfect
You're
advice.
only here for one life for all you know. So
Yeah.
do everything you can.
That's what
Yeah.
I say. You only have one chance on this earth. There's no second chances.
Yeah.
So if you want to go do it, I mean, it took me a while to just tell myself that,
Right.
being like, oh, I can't do that. And my dad always told me growing up, there's no such word as can't.
Right.
That's something I grew up with. So
Yeah.
I made some of the decisions I did. I don't know. I didn't listen that time. But yeah, just go for it. I agree with you 100%. Ryanna, this fantastic chat. I do want to talk about the giveaway. You're being
Yes.
generous and doing a giveaway. So if you want to let the readers know what that is.
Yes. Okay, so the first thing is a copy of my novel. So this and then also one of my poetry collections, but that would be like you choose. I'll just hold them all up. So basically like whoever wins, they can contact me and if they want to like ask like what were the 5 poetry collections again, I can let them know like who they're
Okay,
for.
that'd be good.
So you pick one of these and then also you get the novel. So you get a novel and a poetry book.
Perfect. That sounds great. So you have 2 prizes. One is the sign. Will it be signed?
Oh yeah, I'll sign them for sure.
Okay. And I
Yeah.
do want to point out this is for US only because the shipping is horrendous outside the United States. I apologize if you're watching from out of the United States. I'm also doing my regular giveaway. Most of you know how this works. I am doing the $5 Amazon gift card, and in order to be entered, you need to share this video from my author page. You can share it wherever you like, on Facebook, on Instagram, on your favorite book clubs. But do tag me when you share it and share it as many times as you like. That way I know you shared it and you'll be entered into the giveaway for a $5 Amazon gift card. Ryanna, this has been a wonderful chat. I really enjoyed it. And I really, really want to have you come back and we'll talk about the adventures you went on at the national.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
want to see this new baby. So there's
Yeah,
really
yes.
got to get you back on.
I'll
I
come
will
on with
say a
baby
few
and
words.
book.
I know, right? Let's say a few words to our readers and then we'll sign off.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much. I love all the comments, all the questions, and you guys have just been so friendly with me, and I appreciate it. And thank you, Tina, for having me here.
Anytime. I loved having you. Thank you, readers, for joining us. I will see you back in the group, and I'll be announcing the winners in a couple of hours. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night. Good night, everybody.
Bye.